Retirement is a time when we want to do the things that we've always planned to do. Spend time with family, friends, travel, try new things, explore hobbies and interests, and really just do the things that we love. But it's also the time when we could be faced with new risks that we aren't accustomed to, and if not addressed and protected against, could wreak havoc on the dream retirement that you're planning for. Sequence of returns risk is one of those risks. This is a risk 100% unique to those either currently drawing off investable assets or those needing to draw off investable assets in the future, retirees and pre-retirees alike. And if you have a retirement account that's subject to required minimum distributions, you will be exposed to this risk as well, which is why it's so important to protect against it. In this video, I'm going to discuss sequence of returns risk and how it occurs. I'll go through an example illustrating the devastating impact this risk can have on a portfolio, why it's important to have a plan to protect against it, and steps to take on how you can protect against this risk. Hi, my name is Bene, and my goal here is to help guide you with beneficial wealth strategies and insights to deliver better financial outcomes now and for your future. The combination of withdrawal, timing, and your sequence of returns, or the order of your returns, can have a huge impact on the value of an investment. When you have a portfolio that you're distributing money from, your sequence of returns, or the order of your returns, is far more important than the average return. And while some are placing emphasis on the average return in retirement planning, what we're saying is that the average rate of return isn't painting a very clear picture. It's all about the order of when the returns occur, because average is not actual. Economic uncertainty and market downturns can cause catastrophic consequences to your portfolio, especially if they occur in the years prior to retirement or the years right after retirement. Why? Well, because if you're pulling money out of an account when the market is down, you essentially must cash in a larger piece of your portfolio to get the amount of money that you need. It's best illustrated with an example. You'll see here two portfolios, Miss Happy and Mr. Unhappy. They're both in their accumulation phase, so they're working, they're saving, they're building the wealth, and accumulating as much money as they can. They both start with $1 million, and they both have an average return of 6%. So all we did here is we added the 10 years of returns for each and divided by 10 to get an average of 6%. And we're not taking any withdrawals because they're saving and they're in the accumulation phase. You'll see that Miss Happy starts her accumulation phase with a couple good years in the market and ends with a couple bad years. So she started with $1 million and she ends with $1,547,640. Now let's shift our eyes over to Mr. Unhappy. All we did here is we reversed the order of Miss Happy's returns. So instead of Mr. Unhappy starting his accumulation phase with a couple good years and ending with a couple bad years, he starts with a couple bad years in the market and he ends with a couple good years. He starts with $1 million, and what did he end with? Exactly the same amount as Miss Happy, $1,547,640, just as we'd expect. Since they're in their accumulation phase, they are saving money, and the average return tells us the full story. Now you'll see, though, that the path to which Miss Happy and Mr. Unhappy got to their ending value was completely different. At one point, Miss Happy had over $2 million, but on the other side, Mr. Unhappy at one point had lost almost half. But they weren't concerned with the values, right? Because they were working and, again, they were saving money and they had an income. They weren't relying on their assets for distribution. So sequence of returns risk does not exist in the accumulation phase. But now Miss Happy and Mr. Unhappy have gotten to retirement, right? So now they're entering their distribution phase. So here they start with $1 million. They have an average return of 6%. They add up the 10 years of returns divided by 10 and equals 6%. The only difference here, since they're in their distribution phase, is that they're now taking $60,000 of annual withdrawals. Miss Happy begins her retirement with a couple good years in the market and ends with a couple bad years. She takes out $60,000 per year and she ends with $1,097,400. So she started with $1 million, took out $60,000 per year, and ended with more than she started with. Now let's shift our eyes over to Mr. Unhappy. Again, all we did here is we reversed the order or the sequence of Miss Happy's returns. So you'll see here, instead of Mr. Unhappy starting his retirement with a couple good years and ending with a couple bad years, he starts with a couple bad years in the market and he ends with a couple good years. So he started with $1 million, he took out $60,000 per year, and he ended with much less than he started with. He ends with $388,970. And in fact, you'll see Mr. Unhappy is probably a little stressed in years 2 to 3 of his retirement because he already lost over 50% of his money. And this is only showing 10 years of his retirement. What happens if he lives another 10, 20, or 30 years? And so you'll see here, Miss Happy and Mr. Unhappy have the same average rate of return, but clearly if you could choose to be one or the other, you'd rather be Miss Happy than Mr. Unhappy. In retirement, the average rate of return fails to provide a clear understanding. The order or sequence of returns is far more impactful. And the reason for this is because you aren't saving anymore. You're spending, and your portfolio can't earn back the dollars it lost. Think of it like trying to bail out water from a leaking boat. Because you're pulling money out, whether you need it for income or for a vacation, or the IRS is forcing you to because of required minimum distributions, so you're pulling money out and the market is also pulling money out. It makes it a steep uphill battle to recuperate the dollars that you lost. But how do you know whether you're going to retire in a good market or a bad market? Right, you don't. It's the luck of the draw. No one knows what the market will do tomorrow, 6 months, 1 year, or 10 years plus from now. So it's important to have a plan to help protect against this risk, because when you do, you'll have a plan that works to alleviate the stress of a volatile and declining market and the impact that it can have on your investments, and in turn will help allow you to live the lifestyle that you want to live. Thoughts of travel, pursuing hobbies, spending time with family and friends, buying the things that you want to buy. With the right plan, these things are possible without the constant fear of running out of money or worrying that you'll have less money than you originally thought. And you may be able to leave a more substantial inheritance for your children or other heirs, or contribute more to charitable causes that are important to you. But how do you protect against this risk? Well, the easy answer is you'll want to make sure to address it and eliminate or mitigate this risk in your plan. We believe in a unique planning process called the bucket plan to help our clients not only protect against sequence of returns risk, but other risks that we could be faced with in retirement. For example, the risk of rising taxes, longevity risk, inflation risk, just to name a few. But the bucket plan also makes sure all areas of their financial life are coordinated and working together to meet their immediate, short, and long-term goals. It's a simple yet effective way to understand how to segment your money based on the purpose and time horizon before you'll need it, with a 3-bucket approach using now, soon, and later buckets to structure your assets to provide reliable, tax-efficient income when you need it, and to grow your money over long time horizons. It also helps to battle rising taxes and inflation and other risks throughout retirement. Essentially, we're buying a time horizon to invest the difference for long-term growth. The first bucket is the now bucket. It's your safe and liquid money for unplanned or planned expenses, such as home repairs or a new car, or can be used as income for up to 12 months if needed. Think of it as an emergency or comfort fund. Now, this number is different for everyone, but this bucket is intended to have little to no exposure to the financial markets. By giving up return for liquidity, peace of mind becomes easier knowing that if we need the money, we can access it right away. And this is typically the money in the bank, cash, savings, or money market accounts. Right? So by pulling this money off the table, you can sleep better at night, knowing it's there when you need it. Next, we have bucket 2, the soon bucket. It's the money that we may need to access sooner rather than later. So it would ideally be invested to seek a return, but conservatively. Its goal is to provide planned, steady, reliable, tax-efficient income, and it's an inflation hedge where we can draw a little more as the years go on and things get more expensive. And by investing more conservatively, it helps to protect assets, and you avoid the risk of taking out money at a market low or sequence of returns risk. This is the bucket that is intended to help protect against this risk. So this bucket should not be exposed to extreme market fluctuations that could impact your spending plans during retirement. Finally, for the last phase of retirement, we have bucket 3, the later bucket. This bucket is designed for long-term growth and legacy planning. By positioning money conservatively in the now and soon buckets, we've bought ourselves a time horizon, and doing so can give you the confidence for this third bucket to invest in areas with higher growth opportunities and longer-term time commitments, since you have plenty of time before you plan to use this money. And as I mentioned, it's also designed for legacy planning. And a huge misconception I see is people think that legacy planning is just for the kids. However, legacy planning is actually of crucial importance for the surviving spouse. See, going from married to single tax brackets, the standard deduction is cut in half, marginal brackets shrink, and overall taxes often go up dramatically. Their surviving spouse also loses one of the 2 Social Security payments and may lose potential pensions, so income is almost always reduced as well. Now, this is routinely the reason taxes go up and income goes down for a surviving spouse. And so the bucket plan, we believe, is the best method that we've discovered to help our clients eliminate or mitigate sequence of returns risk, reduce taxes and solidify their growth plan now and for years to come without reducing their current lifestyle, and actively manage their wealth while reducing Uncle Sam's impact on their legacy. It also helps us deliver a plan that they can actually understand and implement to know that they're doing the best they can and are making good, smart choices. Here's the thing. There are different approaches to retirement planning, whether it's the bucket plan or another type of plan. What's important is to make sure that you have a plan that you feel really good about. and protects you from not just sequence of returns risk, but from the many risks that we could be faced with in retirement. It's also important to have a plan that addresses your specific concerns so you're poised to be happier in retirement, more free from the constraints of worry, stress, and confusion that retirement can bring, to allow you to fully enjoy retirement with complete confidence, even during volatile and uncertain times. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful and valuable. Once again, I'm Bene, and if you enjoyed this video, or if there's anyone else that you feel would enjoy it and find value in it, please feel free to share it with them. Also, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss future videos like this. And if you're interested in seeing how we can provide a plan to help coordinate all areas of your financial life, to help you reduce your taxes and increase your wealth now and for years to come, feel free to visit www.stephenbene.com, where you can book a 15 to 30-minute chat to see if we'd be a good fit to partner together, or at the very least, get you answers to your specific questions to help guide you in the right direction.